And so this is a nice little free crochet pattern for you for leg warmers. You can make them either in stripes, as I've done in this video, or you can just do them with one color, one ball of wool, maybe one of the ones that changes color as you go, make it nice and fun. But it's nice and super simple. You're going to need to know rib stitch and half double crochet and single crochet stitch. So quickly subscribe to my channel, then grab your wool and your hooks and let's begin. Right, so just a very quick recap on rib stitch. The full tutorial is available on my Classic Craft Studio channel. It's lesson 4. But just to give you a quick recap, so it's essentially single crochet into the back loops only. So I've done my line of stitching there. I've done my turning chain of 1. Now I'm going to start my new row and literally just going single crochet into the back loop only. Okay. You continue along, and then as you're stitching, it's forming your ribs. You're going to need to know how many rows of stitches you have in your ribbing in order to know how many stitches you're going to do in your actual leg warmer. So the easiest way to count these is that each ridge that you see here on the one side, each ridge is equal to 2 rows of stitching, because there's a ridge and then there's a ridge. So if you just on the one side just count those ridges in multiples of 2, then you'll know how many stitches you need to have in the next part of the leg warmer. So to sew our ribbing band together for the top of the leg warmers, this is for the 9-year-old pattern for 9-year-olds. So we're going to tuck in our short end of the yarn, the starting end. Just tuck that in nice and neatly. Okay. Then with our wool needle, couldn't find my tapestry needle, so I'm just using one of the children's needles, but they work perfectly well. So we're going to line up our 2 sides and we're going to ladder stitch them together. So ladder stitching, it really is just going from one side into the other, like that. There's lots of different ways of joining crochet pieces together, and I will do a tutorial on those in a while, but for now we're just going to stick to this because it's nice and neat and it creates almost a hidden seam. Okay, so we're going to start our rows of crochet along the edge of the band here. Now I'm doing a stripy one. I'm using up all the little bits of 100% cotton yarn that I have, well, as many as are possible, shall I say. So I'm doing different colors for mine. You can do yours all in one color, or you can do stripes like mine. I've included instructions for both in the pattern, so up to you what color you're using now. I'm choosing to start with a new color. So we hook our yarn in there and you chain 1, and I'm going to hold this little short piece at the back here, we'll just stitch over that as we go. It just helps to not have to tuck it in afterwards. So we're going to start single crochet, do a round of single crochet going all the way around. Now you have to count your lines of ribs before we start, so we know how many single crochets we need to have going around here. So I've got 42 rows of rib, so I know I need to have 42 single crochet stitches going around here, and I'm using the 3.5mm hook still. After this round we'll change to the bigger hook, but for this first round we start with a 3.5mm hook. So this is a line of stitching, and then in the ditch is another line of stitching. So you'll see one stitch is formed at the top of a ridge like this, and then you form your next ridge in the dip. No, sorry, your next stitch in the dip. And then over the ridge. And as you can see, this thread is just literally just being stitched over. It's not taking part in the stitch in any way. It's literally just being held there. And that way we don't have to worry with tucking it in later. Okay, so I've counted my stitches going around. My last stitch, this will be stitch 42, and then I join my my last stitch to my first stitch with a slip stitch like that. Done a chain 2, we've moved up to a 4mm hook, yarn over, go into the first hole there, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over. Okay, standard half double crochet going all the way around. Now if you're just doing one color, then continue in half double crochet for approximately 25 to 30 rows, depending on how long you want it, yours to be, your leg warmers to be. I've done mine at 25 rows, and then I've done the ankle band in single crochet. But that's entirely up to you. So from this point on, I'm going to show you how to do the stripes. So first we start with 3 rows of half double crochet, and then we move on to our next color. So just recount your stitches again. I've got 42, and that's, so you're going to join your last stitch to the top of the first stitch. So that's your chain 2, and that's where your first stitch begins. If you're not going to be working in stripes, then continue to work in double crochet rounds until your leg warmers as long as you'd like it to be, and then jump to minute 13 of this video to see how to do the ankle band. Done is our 2 chain, 1, 2. Put our new working thread. So ignoring that one, just leave that one on the side there like that. Yarn over, and then you're going to go into your first stitch, which is quite tight, but it's there. Right, just to show you a little trick about moving your wool up rows at the back, so that you don't have to keep cutting and rejoining your new wool. Okay, so we're starting our new color, which is going to be the yellow stripe in the middle, and then you do your first stitch over all of the, keeping all the extra yarns at the back. Just keep your working yarn in your left hand. Right. Okay, so yarn over, through, and then just make sure that all these extra yarns are tucked behind for that first stitch of your new row. And then you can let all the other ones go and just work over the short end of your new color. And that way, let me just do one more stitch. Get out of the way. Okay. So if you look at the back here, then your new colors have moved up to the next row. So you're not going to have any long strands of yarn coming up between the rows. Just makes it neater. Right, onto our third color. So a lot of practice changing colors. So we've got the last part of our last stitch. So I've slip stitched into the top of my first stitch, yarn over, 2 loops. Then we take our new color, yarn over, put it through those 2 loops, and now we're going to chain 2. Pull our little yarn, bits of yarn tight there, just holding this yarn in place, and that's our first stitch into there. Over, make sure all the little strands are pulled tightish, and then we just continue as before. Okay, we're at the end of the yellow, so we're going to start the last stitch, yarn over, then we pick up our purpley color, dark rose purple, not quite sure what color we'll call that, but okay. Now we're not going to continue with the yellow for this stripe, so we can cut that one, get that one out of the equation. We are going to continue with the blue, and then we just get our little yellow strand, leave the resting thread there, strand, and we chain 2, and then we're working over that yellow end for our first few stitches. Oops, missed a stitch there. Right, so coming to the last band of our leg warmers. So in the next leg warmer tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to do ribbing on both sides of the leg warmers. But for this one, just to keep it simple as possible, we're going to go straight into a band of single crochet. You can do this part in single crochet as well. It just doesn't have quite as much stretch. So I prefer to do the ribbing band for the part that goes around underneath your knee or around your calf muscle, and then just a few rows of single crochet at the bottom for the ankles. So we're going to add our new color, chain 1, then we can cut this blue yarn from the ball. So we're finished with that now, and we're going to go with our new color. So holding these ends tight so those new stitches the first stitch doesn't go wonky, we are going to go straight into single crochet. What's left is to repeat the process and make a second leg warmer. I hope you enjoyed today's free leg warmer pattern. As always, all I ask in return is that you like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching.